lot of people paralyze themselves with deduction. And when you just have a limited amount of facts about the case, don't try to deduce the whole story. Just pick up the phone and ask, what are you guys going through? How can I help?
Welcome, amazing agents and investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, June 10th, 2020, and this is role play call number 55. We have 2 in the queue now. We do have room for more. Just hit *6 and hit 1 if you would like to role play with one of our coaches. We've got plural now. So put them on the hot seat. Give them your toughest situation, places you're getting stuck, places you need help. And let's go to our first caller. First up is phone number ending in 4833. You're up first.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Great, Tim. How are you?
Good. Good. Thank you. Hey, I'm very new to all this. I've been making phone calls for a couple of weeks now, and in my county, probate records are not available right now. So Jim was good enough to give me some historical records. So the biggest thing I'm getting right now is just, hey, we have it handled. We've got everything taken care of. Thanks for calling. Goodbye. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to be the agent or investor. I'm not an agent yet, but I'm going to write my license early next month. And if Chad, if I could just give you my USP and kind of run through this a little bit. I just kind of want feedback on how I'm sounding, or if I'm sounding off-putting and not trustworthy and that kind of thing.
Okay. So you're brave. You're gonna be at this point. You're gonna be the investor, correct? Or just you're gonna be Tim wanting to help the people.
That's right. I'm just gonna be Tim wanting to help.
Okay. Perfect.
So, all right. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hello. I'm looking for Chad.
This is Chad. Who is this?
Hey, Chad. This is Tim McElroy calling. Hey, I'm calling because I noticed you're the personal representative of an estate here in Spokane County. And, Chad, I got a team of professionals here in the community to help folks who are going through the probate process. There are lots of ways we can help, ranging from, cleaning and selling personal property to helping to facilitate the sale of real estate, or even through to offering advice for tax implications. What's been the most difficult part of this process for you?
Listen, Tim, did you say it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Tim, we've got an attorney, and I mean, they've got it handled. There's nothing we can do right now. So, yeah, we've done everything we can. Thank you for your call. Shoot, did we lose you, Tim?
You still there, Tim? Well, I think that's the problem. He's hanging up too soon.
You did, Jim, did you hear that audio feedback?
I did. That was on him. Yeah, he basically, either his phone died, he went out of range, something happened. So, Tim, come back. We'll go to the next person, but come back and we'll just pick up from where you left off. Let's go to our next caller, phone number ending in 3040. You're up next.
Okay, my question is that I have run into situations where the property has been like, say the estate of like John Smith, and sometimes it'll be the executor. And I don't understand why they're doing it that way.
You're saying the executor name matches the deceased name?
Yeah, well, it'd be like the deceased, like John Smith. It'd be in the estate of John Smith and Mary Smith, or Mary Allen, like a different last name. Which I'm thinking, if it's a woman, it may be his daughter. Okay, and I just don't know why they're doing it that way.
Well, I mean, different people have. Some people have their financial advisors, their bankers, like people who are outside of the family actually probate their estate. whoever it is, they have the same job, and if they're not
Okay.
immediate family, chances are it's less emotional, which will be an easier
Right.
relationship for you to build, right? So don't ever shy away from those just because they don't
Okay.
match. And quite honestly, like a lot of people paralyze themselves with deduction. And when you just have a limited amount of facts about the case, don't try to deduce the whole story. Just pick up the phone and ask, what are you guys going through? How can I help?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, Tim is back. We'll pick up where we left off. Tim, thank you for calling back.
Hey, sorry about that. My phone just cut me out right as Chad was giving me his objection.
No
So
problem.
I hit you with, we'll just pick up where we left off. I hit you with the one that you said you're having challenges with. So we can't really do anything right now, Tim. We have an attorney, and he said that there's nothing that can be done. So just thanks for your call, but we don't need any help.
Yeah, I understand that, Chad. And actually, I think the great that you have an attorney there. They take care of a big piece of it. But what that is really about 25% of the workload. And as you're probably finding out, you've got a lot on your shoulders now. The rest of the 75%, and that's why I'm calling. That's why I'm reaching out and just letting you know that.
But Tim, he says we can't. He says we can't do anything. That's what I'm telling you. Like, there's nothing that you can't help me right now.
Right. From a legal perspective, I agree with you. The courts are backed up, and there's things that are at a standstill. Have you received your letter of testamentary right now at this point?
What is that? I don't know. We got stuff from the probate clerk and from the attorney. He's keeping track of all that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably what that is right now, and essentially what that's allowing you to do is giving you power over the estate to be able to move forward with kind of the non-legal side of things, and whether that's cleaning out property or selling things off, that gives you the ability to do that. Chad, I didn't ask earlier, is there real estate in the estate, and if so, do you have a plan for that?
There's one house on some acreage out on the edge of the county. My parents had that as a rental property, and it's we don't know what we're going to do with it right now. We're not doing anything. We're being told that we shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I understand that makes sense. The reason I ask that question is, often we find that real estate is the most difficult part for families to deal with. It sounds like it's a rental property. Are there tenants in there currently, or is it vacant?
No, we haven't had a tenant in there in a while. We had some plumbing issues, and just dad didn't have the cash to fix it with his health problems, so it's just kind of an abandoned house.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm glad I called because one of the things that attorneys often miss is if this property is vacant, your homeowner's policy or insurance policy on that property probably isn't covering that vacancy.
No, I paid that bill. I paid that bill last month. It has insurance. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure it does have a homeowner's policy on it, or renter's insurance policy on it. But I think if you looked at that closely, Chad, I think you'd find that it probably doesn't cover vacancy. I could be wrong on that, but I'm guessing that's the case. Most policies that I've encountered just don't have that vacancy allowance on there. One of the members of my team is an insurance broker, and his name is Andrew. I can have him reach out to you if you're comfortable with that, in the next 24 hours, and it's no obligation. He can just let you know what he could help you with as far as covering that vacancy. I think the worst thing that could happen, in any situation, especially right now that we're waiting for the courts to open up, is for something to happen to that property and the estate to lose that. Our goal is to help, an estate and a family get as much equity out of that as they can, and just make that process as stress-free as possible. So would you be comfortable if I had Andrew give you a call in the next 24 hours about that?
I guess if you think I don't have insurance, but I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, you know, and like I think you do have a policy on there, as you said, but you know, I think a vacant specific policy is going to be very valuable to you and your family right now. Make sure that that property is well protected. You know, Chad, who else in this process is working through this with you? Do you have any siblings or other family members that are making decisions with you?
You know, I haven't been out of the house in 30 days. It's just me and my basset hound.
That's great.
I do have,
okay.
so I have a sister that lives over in Idaho, and you know, obviously my wife and I we're the ones here, so we've had to deal with. Dad lived with us for the last couple of years, and so we've basically been doing it on our own.
Sure, I understand that. You know, what I'd like to offer you, Chad, is just the opportunity to sit down and talk through some options with, you know, you and your wife and your sister if possible. We can, as you mentioned, you've been in the house. We can just do that over a Zoom call. My purpose there will just be to show you some options that you can move forward with right now, both in terms of, you know, potentially getting the property cleaned up and making a decision on whether you guys want to keep that and rent it out, or whether you want to fix it up and sell it for top dollar, or even just, you know, maybe your goals are to get rid of it quickly, and I can also facilitate that kind of a transaction. So, you know, I've got a couple openings later this week, one on a Thursday afternoon at 5 and one on Friday morning at 10. Which one is better for you if we sat down for 20 minutes on a Zoom call to talk through this?
Mornings are better. I start drinking whiskey by 3 o'clock these days.
I'm with you. Well, at some point after all this, maybe we can sit down for a whiskey together. But let's pencil you in right now for Friday morning at 10, and I'll come prepared with you know, 3 or 4 things that I think could be really beneficial for you folks here, as well as some good options that I think could help you with the real estate there. And
Okay.
and we'll go from there. If it looks like it'd be valuable for you, we can keep talking.
All right. Well, I will see you on Zoom then, and we'll break.
Thank you.
So, first off, I didn't rattle you, even though I was being kind of abrasive and short with you. So I'll first compliment you with you didn't get defensive, you didn't get rattled. You've got a calm head. Good job on that.
Okay.
I wanted to try to layer in some other things. Like I threw the rental property out on the edge of the county at you on purpose. I will say that you quickly recognized it and saw the opportunity, and you asked the right questions. You segued to the real estate in a great way. What I wanted you to do was get your hooks in. Oh, it's a vacant rental property with plumbing issues that they couldn't afford to fix. So I wanted you to give me some examples of how you could do that. I wanted you to say, you know what, why don't I go out there and look at that, and then I'll come back and we can talk on Friday at 10. Like I wanted you to ask, you needed to learn more about the property so you can learn more about the problems, so you can learn more about the service that will appeal to me. So you recognized the pieces, and you closed up the call by saying, I'm gonna do some research, and I'll give you some 3 or 4 options. Well, you kind of handicapped yourself because you didn't learn enough about the real estate when you had me in rapport. You could have asked, well, how long ago was that? And, do you remember what exactly needed done? Do you think I could go over and take a look maybe this afternoon and get access? And then I can, by the time we meet on Friday, I will have a plan for you to transition that into a family rental property, a plan for you to sell it as is, where is, or a plan to actually sell it for absolute top dollar. Because I don't know if you understand this, Mr. Seller, but there's a mass exodus out of California into eastern Washington and Idaho right now. And this is a great opportunity for you to stop paying holding costs and maximize the equity we can get out of this property. This situation that's making you and I meeting challenging is also creating a great opportunity. It's a short window, but it's creating a great opportunity for your family to get the top dollar out of that property. So if you sit and wait for the attorney to call you, then he could actually be costing you money, because it's not only are you racking up holding costs and property taxes and everything else, the insurance that you're paying for that probably isn't even covering the asset, but there's a great opportunity right now. People are leaving San Francisco while they can. Prices are already falling there, so everyone's trying to catch the falling knife and come up here. So we've got a great crop of buyers that have a lot of cash. So I want to give you some options. How about we start with, like, is there a neighbor or a family member that can let me into the property this evening? I'll go look at it right now. And that's where I wanted you to go with it. Like, you saw the opportunity. You were hesitant to jump into it, though. And I was showing you that I was in rapport. I quit giving you objections. So just listen to the recording and hear that. The other thing on the vacant house policy, good job on that. You presented it well. But instead of saying, would it be okay if I have this guy give you a call, don't ask. Like, do you ever think it's in someone's best interest to have an uninsured asset?
No.
Then don't ask. Just say, I'm going to have a guy named David. Can you verify the address for me? It's 123 Pleasant Valley Lane. Okay, I'm going to pull the tax card, send it to a guy named David. David is going to run it through several insurance companies, and he will call you within the next 2 hours to let you know exactly what those quotes are and answer any questions you have. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Okay. That's at least one thing I know I can do to protect your family today, and I at least feel good that I was able to do that. Now let's talk about the plan for the property. Do you guys want to keep it in the family and keep it as a rental? And I know you said there wasn't any cash there to do that, but what if I could show you a way to get the work done, yada, yada, and then I'll go right into the rest of the house. So those are the two things that I think you could have done better. And you are on a public stage, and you had the courage to step up here. So you did really well. There's just some things that I know you can do better. You're definitely a good salesperson. I can hear that. And you didn't get rattled or defensive, so that's good. So I think where you might be getting hung up is, I'm not a high-pressure salesperson, but when I know people are in probate quicksand and it's causing them more stress and it's costing them money, then I will grab them by the hand and pull their ass out. Like, I'll get them out of their own way when they're their biggest problem. So you may need to be a little, I don't even want to use the word aggressive. Be more assertive. And when you understand that these people, by sitting and waiting and doing nothing, it's not serving them or anyone else. Especially in this environment. Those examples that I gave, I think, are absolutely real in Spokane County, aren't they? You guys have 100%. Californians are running up there.
Yeah, the average damn market here is about 2 days. So. Yeah,
so instead, be a little more assertive, not necessarily aggressive, but run toward the obstacle a little bit more, and I think that'll help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's 100% right. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, Bruce, any feedback, Bruce? Anything additional?
No, that was good. Nothing official.
Yeah, I often say this on these role plays, but it really was true. Tim, you did a great job of never making Chad wrong. No matter what he said, you affirmed, repeated, and then kind of told him why there was a better way, but you didn't make him wrong, and that really stood out. It was great job. All right, well, we only have one. This could be a thank you. Appreciate you participating, Tim, especially taking the role of the investor. That's not easy. We've got well over 100 people on this call, and we only have one more person in the queue. There's got to be more people that need help. You don't have to be like Tim. You don't have to be the agent. You can give Chad a hard time. Hit Chad with your toughest objections you've been hearing and places you're getting stuck.
I think Bruce needs a turn. Whoever has the toughest objection out there, it's time for Bruce.
Sounds good to me. He is our coach now. All right, next and last up for now. Again, guys, just hit *6 and hit 1. Jump in the queue, and next up is phone number ending in 4674. You're up next.
Hey there, everybody. I was also hoping to be the agent, be the service provider in this one, and I'm going to ask if we could start as if you've already gotten the letter, because I'm not sure. I don't even know where I'd start if I was the one calling. maybe how Tim started, but we'll try either one. You guys can choose.
Do you have a specific direction? So I'm assuming that you mean that you want this executor, this personal representative, to call you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've got absolutely
Okay.
no experience, so this will be the first call.
Okay.
Are
You want it
they
to be tips?
calling
You want it to?
Are they wanting to know more information, or are they angry?
Well, I don't know. Maybe angry. Angry sounds more difficult. So maybe why did you call me or whatever? That might work.
Well, I think
Sure.
so.
Yeah, do you want to do it?
Most
Or you want me? Go ahead.
most of your calls, you can do it, Bruce. I didn't realize I thought you didn't. So I'll just say this, and I'll turn it back to Bruce. But most of your calls aren't going to be angry inbound calls. 1 in 1,000 might be, but most of them are actually going to be. They're going to be guarded, but curious. So if you want to build your skill set under realistic, in a realistic scenario, then I would recommend go that way. If you want to build some thick skin and test your resolve, then we can be tougher on you and do the aggressive inbound. But 99% of the time, it's going to go the other way. You're going to have a more people are going to be guarded and untrustworthy but curious. So it's your choice.
All right, let's still do the tougher one just so that the easy ones will be easier, or the curious ones will be easier.
Okay, my man.
What is your call to action? What do your letters generally say?
I've not sent a letter yet, so I just got out of the probate mastery. I'm working on building the team up and looking at this site should be finished up in the next week or so. So then I'm going to get your leads and start going.
Okay. Okay. Last question. Remind me your name real quick.
Yeah, it's Isaiah.
Isaiah. Okay. All right. Yep. Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Isaiah.
Hi, Isaiah. This is Bruce over here with the house, and just calling. You sent me this letter. Just calling to see what that's all about.
Yeah. With the house. So, you must be are you the executor or administrator of a probate right now?
Yeah. I'm administering my sister's estate.
Okay, cool, Bruce. Cool. Well, the reason we sent you that letter is every month we go down to the probate court down there in St. Johns County, and we talk with Kelly, the probate clerk, about the different people in the area that we can help. So we've got a team of professionals and experts in the area that their only job is to help new executors handle the probate process to help take some of that responsibility off of them.
Well, okay, I get all that. I'm just wondering why you. I mean, why you sending it to me? I mean, she just passed away like a month ago. I'm wondering why do you feel like you need to send that to me? I'm not ready to do anything.
I understand that. Then that makes a lot of sense, and really that's one of the toughest parts of the job is building up the courage to send out letters to people going through a really hard time, and it sounds like you're going through that. And so first and foremost, I'd like to express my condolences and my best wishes to you right now. And that's really, as hard as it is, the reason that we reach out so early is because some of our best clients have had the hardest times and have been dealing with this really hard situation it sounds like you're dealing with. And without understanding fully the process of what you've been tasked with and this really brand new job with a ton of responsibility, we found that our best clients have found it extremely stressful. They're not sure where to go. And the reason we reach out so early, despite getting yelled at here and there, is because we know the earlier that we reach out to you, the more we'll be able to help you and protect your family and guide you through the process and really just make it easier for you. So I totally understand why it might seem out of taste, and I'm sure you've gotten bombarded with calls from people who are just trying to, buy your house for pennies on the dollar or do something else and make a bunch of money. That's not why we're calling. We're calling to provide a service to you that is based only around providing value and helping you get through this really hard process. So far, it sounds like you're pretty new to this. What's been the hardest thing so far about this process?
Honestly, it's just all the people that keep on calling me wanting to buy my sister's house. I'm not ready for any of this yet. I didn't ask for this. I don't know. I don't know why you all just want to be offering me low dollar amount on her house and just bugging me right now.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it either. But well, my main goal is to help provide you value, and you don't pay us or anything until you're happy with the work that we're doing, and if you find it worthwhile and valuable to you, and we'll set up a meeting so we can meet face to face to go over that. One little bit, if you want the people to go away and you don't have to, it can be awkward for people to call you. If somebody's trying to buy your house or whatever, just tell them, you've got it under contract or you've got it with a realtor right now with an exclusive agreement, and they'll go away. That's the best thing I think you could say to get them to hang up the fastest. So
what if I
aside from
told you that?
Well, I would still persist, and I'd say that's great. Real estate's only one of the various ways we could, we help our clients. Speaking of the real estate, though, it sounds like you haven't really put a plan together for it. Usually that's the biggest and most, the most complicated part of the estate. What are your plans for that? What are you thinking about doing with it? Maybe renting it out or selling it?
Yeah, we don't know yet. My other sister and her son and I are talking about that. I'm probably going to sell it at some point, but we might even let him move into it.
Oh, that's awesome. So it sounds like you're on very good terms with all the siblings involved in the process.
Yeah, I guess
that
we're getting along
maybe
all right.
all except for one or two.
Yeah, we're getting along all right. He wants to move into the house, and honestly, I just don't want to be messing with it much longer.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Now, really quickly, before we even continue this conversation, I want to make sure that you've already been connected up with a good attorney that you're comfortable with to help you through the legal parts of the process.
No, I think we're just doing that ourselves.
Okay. Okay. Well, oh man, Bruce, that's a tough place to be. So what you're thinking about is taking on the process pro per, and virtually every single time somebody does that, they'll end up with an attorney after learning about the liability that you have as the executor. Have you gone through any of the court process or proceedings to even get your letters of testamentary that even give you authority to manage anything within the estate?
Yeah, I think we got a court date coming up here in a couple of weeks. So I don't know what that letter you talked about was, but we're going to the court here in a couple of weeks. But I can do stuff to the house.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm just like you, Bruce, where I try. In fact, I just got myself into trouble last week trying to fix something on my car, and I'm always getting myself into trouble. And you sound like me, where we like to do it ourselves and learn and try to figure it out. What I'm going to do is I've got a fantastic probate attorney in the area that will give you an hour of his time just to ask some questions and for free.
How much is that going to cost?
And that way you can go ahead and it's a free consultation, and that way you can at least understand the first few steps of the process, because this isn't really a matter where if you make a mistake, it's a really, really big deal. And it's very important that you do things right. So at least you could ask him a few questions about the next steps. And really, he's fantastic, and you might find that working with an attorney will help make this a lot easier on you as well. And it's well worth the cost. But that'll be up to you. Is that all right if I have him give you a call?
Yeah, he can give me a call.
All right, sounds good. I think he'll really like you. We've got a number of attorneys in our network, and the reason I'm going to send him over is because based on talking to you for a few minutes, it sounds like you two will get along. So I'm going to have him do that. What's going on with the real estate right now? Is it vacant, or is your brother already living in there right now?
No, we don't have anyone in there right now. It's vacant, and I'm not even sure they want to move in the way that it is right now.
Okay, it's some things have to be fixed up or repaired.
She just kind of let it go. It's a big hassle.
Yeah, that's more common than you probably think. But it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna have the attorney give you a call, but I'm also gonna have Dave in the area. He's an insurance specialist that helps with these types of matters because, believe it or not, virtually every single insurance policy, homeowner's insurance policy for a home, does not cover a home after any damage to a home after a month of sitting vacant. So one of your main priorities as the executor and your main responsibilities is to protect the estate and preserve it. And so if anything were to happen to that house at this point, it's fair to say that you would be violating that duty and opening yourself up to liability, which is really, again, like I had said before, why we try to reach out as soon as possible to help guide you in the right direction. So I'm going to have Dave give you a call because you definitely want to get some vacant home insurance on that property in case anything happens to it. Sound good?
Oh, okay. I mean, I got insurance. We're paying the bills. You're telling me it's not insured? It's not. What are you telling me?
I bet you're paying the bills. I bet you're paying the bills, and there are a number of things. Again, I don't know if you set up your checking account for. It doesn't. Well, you haven't gotten your letters of testamentary yet, so there are so many things going on, which is why the attorney's going to give you a call to help you with all that. But
okay,
vacant home insurance generally costs about 25 to 50% more than regular home insurance. That's what all the snowbirds use and people with multiple houses, because most regular insurance policies do not cover vacant home insurance because most people are in their home living there at least once every month. So that'll be really important for you. It sounds like there are a few problems with the real estate as far as repair or anything like that. There are so many options you have right now, and it sounds like it's a lot to wrap your head around. So why don't you let me, I don't know, is there a neighbor or anybody or a family member that'd be able to let me in the house? One of the team members that we have is an outstanding contractor. He'll be able to take a look at the property, see what it would need to be able to maximize the value if you do decide to sell it, or at least make it inhabitable. Can you set up a time for us to get in there and take a look and see what we can do to do that for you?
I don't know. Pretty busy. I mean, I guess I could get out there and let somebody in.
Are there any broken windows? Because if it's in enough disrepair, I might be able to just find a window, get in myself.
No broken windows. It's
Cool.
locked up.
Well, look, you sound like a super
Matter
awesome
of fact,
guy.
one of the neighbors is probably going to.
And I don't want them to think there's some random person going in to squat in there, which is another thing we can discuss as well. So first things first, I'm gonna have David and Jim give you a call to help take care of you, and we'll set up a time to get in this house. Does tomorrow work for you? What's the best time to get over there?
I can't do tomorrow. I could probably do the next day.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do Friday. Is the morning good? How about 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm going to go take a look at that, and then let's touch base after we take a look at the house and after you talk to Jim and David. And so let's set up a tentative meeting. Would you be able to get all your family members that should be involved in the process on the phone maybe next week so that we can set up a plan and discuss the different options on how to get this thing moving? Because I know it's only been a month, and that's not a very long time to process everything, especially all the emotional elements of it. But it's really important to get this process moving, especially with the courts backed up right now. So would you be able to round up those concerned parties for a follow-up meeting maybe next Friday?
Yeah, I can get them rounded up. I don't know what their work schedule is going to be like, but I can get them rounded up. Now I'm going to go ahead and break the role play at this point, because at that point you had it all set up. I forgot that I was supposed to be playing hardball until the second second round that I came at you hard. But I thought that was good. Chad, you hear anything? You've been doing these role play calls for a while. I gave him a couple of
even though you were in character and you were trying to play hardball, he walked your ass down and he turned you into
easy.
Easy.
Yep.
You were putty in his hands. That's exactly how you do it, man. I want to say that you paid a lot of attention in Mastery because you've done so many things that so many people miss. Do you actually know your probate clerk?
I was going to meet him yesterday, but something came up. But I did call down to one county just to ask a question about our county. But I'm planning.
Good for you, dude. Like, you got super local about it. You're like, listen, we go down, we meet with Kelly, and yada yada, and like, there's so many little things that you picked up in Mastery that some people might not have even heard, but you did your homework. So, real kudos there.
That was good. That was a good call.
You did an amazing job. You're going to do really well with this. Not having any experience and finding all those little things. And I will say I agree with you stepping back and making sure he was taken care of with an attorney. You knew what pro per and pro se. Like you were able to explain that to him. Like, that's awesome, man. Your probate knowledge is really good, and that builds trust quickly. And even though Bruce was like trying to be an abrasive character, hell, you made him forget it even. That was his job, and you talked him down. So the one thing, the area where I see where you can improve, and this is a little thing, but you've got this really good tone of voice and a really good energy about you, and you don't challenge them. Like, just like Jim complimented the last caller, you never make them wrong. So you're being very personable. But then when you reference someone else, a family that you worked with, you call them clients. And it's just a cold business term. So you're painting this image of I'm a hometown boy right here willing to help you. And you had so much good language around that. But then you're like, our best clients. When we help other clients, and especially when someone's in that abrasive mindset, you don't want them to be a client. You want them to be a family or a person. So I'm splitting hairs here. I try to find something to tell you can do better. You did a hell of a lot right. That's the one thing I would you've got such a good start to this. Just start using families. Like, nobody really wants to be a client.
That's huge. No,
good job,
I totally,
man.
That's a huge comment. I appreciate that. Does anybody else have any constructive, what can I do better here?
I feel like
I'll tell you one thing I really...
Go
ahead, Bruce.
I
go
feel
ahead.
like you could have dug into the house just a little bit more. I referenced some of the repairs that were needed, and you could have really kind of allowed me to highlight some of my own pain by saying, tell me what's going on with the house. So I kind of mentioned that it was in disrepair. She'd let it go. And if you could have pushed on that with a little bit more questions, just kind of poke the wound just a little bit and let me explain what's happening, and the more I explain that, the more I'm going to want help. When you're dealing with someone that's guarded, they don't necessarily know that they need or want help until they start actually stepping back and thinking about all the trouble that they're having. So you could have landed there for a couple more minutes.
That's awesome. No, I really appreciate that. And one thing I noticed about myself is just being, and I think practice will make this better, but just being more pointed with my questions instead of, I feel like I can really drone on the phone and like say, talk for like a minute when I could have talked for like 15 seconds with a more pointed question or inquiry. So I think I'll have to work on that.
So there was one area where you did that, but I think you realized when you were doing it, because you very quickly, you wrapped it up pretty quickly, and you said, by the way, what's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? So you ended it well, but I think you might have realized you were talking too much, and you're like, oh, wait, I'm not engaging him. So listen to your recording for sure, but you're not too long-winded. Just one time I think you were.
Yeah, and the only thing I was going to...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. The one thing I was going to add, and this is really picky, it made me cringe a little bit when you were telling him to kind of lie and tell him that the house was listed or sold. because I feel like maybe that could come back and bite you if you say it's listed and he has a way to look at it. Not only that, if he finds out, and I know you were doing it just to try to help him, but he may look in the MLS, and I mean, you know, you have the ability to look in the MLS, and or he could tell that to somebody and get caught in a lie. And I don't know why, that just very insignificant, and I understand why you were trying to do it. I'll tell you one thing I loved was offering to go over there and crawl through any broken windows and well, wait a minute, I don't want the neighbors to think I'm a squatter. You just put like 3 red flags in his 3 areas of concern that he might not have been thinking about. I wonder if the windows are broken. I wonder what happens if somebody squats in the house. I thought that was brilliant. I really appreciated that. Yeah, good job.
Yep, me too.
I give you a 9.9. There's not much you could do better.
Well, that's generous. My question is, I was looking for local attorney groups, and I've been trying to book paid time with attorneys, and I did one even before I found you guys, and it's not like it's worth the connection because it was $250 to talk to the guy for an hour, and he's a super cool guy and all that, but I've not found any associations that really seem active in my area, but it's I'm around a pretty big city, Jacksonville, Florida. I was wondering if you guys had any that you know of or where I might be able to go. I tried calling the local university, but they haven't gotten back to me. And because I feel like if I can't even pay for a lawyer's time, maybe you have a template email or somebody in the group has an email that they have found success with emailing attorneys that I could customize and everything. But I'm really trying to talk to attorneys and find out, when they learn about the service, that they'll be excited about it and it'll help them and all that, reduce their calls, whatever. And I've kind of struggled connecting with attorneys effectively.
So we have lots and lots of resources, recorded calls, tips from the trainer post. If you go to alltheleads.com in the top right in that search bar, put in attorney or attorneys or both, and that will bring up every piece of content on the site, and it's going to be a lot of stuff. But we've had role-play conversations. We've had mastermind conversations. I've done tips from the trainer. There's an hour-long video of me and a 20-year probate attorney or estate planning attorney and real estate professional. That's if you search Fraker. John Fraker was the attorney that did that call with us. So there's lots of stuff there that'll really help you with that. Outside, it's kind of outside of the scope of this call, but start there. Go to alltheleads.com in the top right search bar, hit attorney, and you'll have several hours worth of stuff to go through that'll help you with that.
Okay, awesome. Really appreciate that.
Great job. We appreciate your participation. We have one more person in the queue, depending on how long it goes. That could take us up nicely to the top of the hour. Next up is phone number ending in 3878. You're up next.
Hey, Chad, I got a question for Chad, and I'd like to mix it up a little bit and make him the one trying to convince me to sell the property. I've got a lead.
Sure.
My name's Joey. I'm in Columbus, Georgia, and I have a lead that came in December. And the brother that called me, he was in charge of the estate, and his mom has Alzheimer's, and he had the knowledge that he was able to sell, at least he thought that he was able to sell the property, but he comes to find out that both his sister and his brother had to sign off on the sale. Well, his sister did because he was just trying to get the money to pay for some of her medical bills, and that was basically it. And the property isn't in terrible shape, but it does need some work. And long story short, the other brother, the older brother actually, was living in the property. He did move out, but he's opposed to selling the property, and he wants a bigger piece of the pie. He basically found out that he owns 1/8 of the property, or has 1/8 rights to the property, I guess you could say, from the sale, and the other brother will get 7/8, and he's going to use his portion to pay for his mom's medical bills.
Is this
so my question was,
is this a probate or a guardianship?
Well, they hadn't gone through probate. I guess it's actually probably more of like a guardianship, but I mean, really and truly, it's a probate. Even though she hasn't passed, it still had to go through a probate court. So it's a little bit different, I guess. But I think it's kind of applicable because the brother is opposed to selling it, and I just was curious as to how you would you would handle that that situation.
Sure, and we can jump into a role play, but I'm going to ask you the same questions, because if
Right.
probate has not been filed, if the father didn't pass away, like if there is a probate, it's probably on the father, not the mother, and the mother
Yes,
would
that's
have
it.
been.
Right. Yes, correct. It's the father. The father. See, he has 100% ownership over his mother's portion. That's right. On the father's side, the brother has some claim to it because it wasn't done correctly, apparently. And technically, he was supposed to have 100% ownership over it, but because it wasn't done correctly on the dad's side, who has passed, as you accurately said a second ago, yeah, that's the problem. So that's the main issue here.
Okay, and I'm talking to the brother that wants to sell and do the right thing and pay the medical bills, right?
No, you'd be talking to the other brother that doesn't want to sell, because that's who I need to talk to. I've gotten his number. I need to convince him that this is still a good idea, and I'm trying to have a hard time figuring out what I need to say to him exactly, because you know, I think that he will sell based on certain factors, but he's kind of greedy. He's not paying for the property. He was living the property for free. He actually cleaned out the appliances that were brand new, that weren't his really, and he's greedy. He's all about money. So I was going to play the role of the brother and to see how you would handle that situation.
Okay. All right. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Joey?
Who is this?
Hey,
is.
Joey. My name's
Calling?
Chad. My name's Chad. I spoke to your brother Tim a little bit ago. Did he tell you we talked?
No, he hasn't.
Okay. Well, is this a good time for you?
What's this about?
Well, I spoke to Tim. He had actually called me. We've got a team of folks here that help families going through probate and other transitions, and he kind of told me the story about what's happening with your mom and what has happened with your dad. And I didn't want to. I know from my past, it's if I leave people out, sometimes people misunderstand what we're trying to do. So, quite honestly, I just wanted to call and have a candid conversation with you and see what, if there's any way we can help your family where everybody gets what they want. So have you got time to talk about that?
Possibly.
Well, first, let me recap my understanding. There's three sides to every story, right? There's yours, theirs, and the truth. So I'll kind of tell you what Tim and I talked about. So it's my understanding your father passed away. His estate was probated, but maybe not correctly, and your mother was the heir. Now that your mother has dementia, Tim actually has a limited power has power of attorney and is trying to manage her estate, and he wants to sell the real estate and some of the personal property in order to settle some medical bills because his phone is ringing off the hook. Does all that sound accurate?
Part of it, yeah. That sounds partly accurate.
Okay. Well, the reason I wanted to call you is I'm in the business of helping people, not making people's situations worse or more stressful. And it sounded to me, and this is nothing he said. I'm reading into it, and I wanted to ask you directly. It sounds to me like there's some contention in the family that about selling the home that you're living in. Like you don't want to sell it, and he does, and he feels pressure because the bill collectors keep calling him. But I want to hear your side of the story. I wanted to hear, what are your goals to help your mother and to settle the medical bills, and I'll see if there's any way I can help you guys.
Well, I'm just, not opposed to selling the property, but I would like to get my fair share. And I've had to hire an attorney, so I'm not sure if I should even be talking to you right now. Maybe you need to be talking to my attorney. So I don't know if I should say anything else, but I think my brother's trying to give away my mom's house, and my dad and mom worked really hard for that house, and I think he's just trying to give it away, and I don't think that's right, and so I have a problem with that, yeah.
So you think he's in too big of a hurry because the bill collectors are putting pressure on him? Or you think
Possibly.
He's being spiteful?
I think that, I was living there. We have a heated relationship. Things haven't always been the best in the past. He kind of thinks of me as a freeloader. And, my parents gave me the right to stay in that house, and I don't think I was doing anything wrong. I was looking after that property, keeping it up, and then all of a sudden he comes along and kicks me out, and he wants to sell it for, pennies on the dollar, and the family's not too happy about it.
Yeah, and he can't. I mean, do you know if your mother has, or if you're? Let me ask you this. I need to clear up some things. So, was your father's estate actually is the probate closed, and whose name is the title to the house in right now? Is it just in your mother's name?
It's titled in my mother and father's name.
Okay, so that probate didn't finish. Like it's still open. Your father's probate.
That's what my attorney is saying to me. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So, did your father have a will?
He did.
And were you in that will?
I was. Yes.
Okay. And so the house was, part of the house was to go to you, like a portion of that was yours, according to the will, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, obviously the house can't be sold without your consent, and I'm sure your attorney has let you know that. It sounds like, if you're open to it, I would like to, and I think, it's certainly reasonable to invite your attorneys. What if we all jumped on a Zoom call? There's a lot of ways I can help, and I'm not an attorney. That's not why I'm calling. What I am is everything the attorney's not. So I have a team of people that can help with personal property, real property, even if we wanted to flip that house and make it look like something Chip and Joanna Gaines just finished and get absolute top dollar for the family, so everybody gets what they want. The medical bills get paid off. You get a fair, more than a fair value. You get more money than you would now if we just sold it in this situation. So there's a lot of things we can do. It's just really like getting the pieces on the table and seeing how the puzzle fits where everybody wins and gets what they want. And I find that working with a lot of families, sometimes it just takes, a third party perspective to cool things down a little bit and say, okay, and once we build trust and you guys all realize I'm acting in everybody's best interest, then we can kind of put the plan together. We can all give it our nod and we can move forward. And maybe that's the attorneys doing some legal work, but probably not. It sounds like it's more of we just need to get to some social agreements, and then we can decide whether if you guys want to just sell the house for really quickly for a discount price. It doesn't sound like that's going to work for you or your siblings. It may work for Tim. But the other options are we can sell it as is, where is, for a higher price. It'll take a little bit longer. We can put some money into it, whether that's your money or my money or someone else's money, and get more money for the family. But I'd like to have that conversation in front of everybody, not with you, not just with you. Because if we go down that rabbit hole and we build a relationship and we feel great about our plan, then Tim feels like we did something without him, and his ego might react by being even more, more closed up. So I'd like to start with just a Zoom call with me, you, anyone you'd like to bring to the conversation, where we can all just like talk about what our goals are, what everybody's goals are, what would be the perfect solution if you could control all variables. And then I think once we do that, I'll see where I can really plug in and be of most value to you guys. Would you be willing to do that with us?
I'll need to talk to my attorney, but I guess that's fair.
Yeah, well, I'd like for him to be there. I think it's good to have him as part of that conversation, so everybody can be part of the same conversation. I certainly don't want to start a game of he said, she said, because I know how poorly the outcome can be. But I do want to have some open conversation, because it seems to me like I've worked with a lot of families, and quite honestly, you guys, you're definitely not being ugly like some families are, but you're losing ground. Like, you're not communicating as much as you could be. There's some resentment and some just like, the hell with it, I'll just sit here and do what the attorney says. And those things are like, they're like powder kegs. A little spark can touch it off, and you can have something that lasts 10 years in a courtroom. Or on the other side of it, just somebody like a fresh third-party perspective can sometimes mend the fences, and everybody wins, and we move forward. We've actually reconnected family members that haven't spoken in 20 years just by being a neutral third party to kind of facilitate the meeting. and then everyone reconnects, and now they're all of a sudden they're sorry that they lost 20 years of their relationship. But that's, if I can choose an outcome, that's what I'd want for you guys. Like, no brothers should ever, be disconnected, I don't think. And I'm guessing you probably agree with me, even if you don't right now. I bet deep in your heart you wish you guys hadn't lost that time. So I'd like to start there. If you want, I can call your attorney right now and have the conversation with him as well, or you can call him, whichever. But how about Friday at 4:30? Would that be a good time?
Yeah, I'll have to check with him, but that sounds like that could work.
Okay. And then I'll break there.
All right. Yeah.
So
that was helpful. Yeah.
That's what I would try to do. I mean, like I said, there's three sides to every story, and now I have two, right? Like you
Right.
you verified some things, but that you're still deferring to your attorney. So I know I have to have that person on the phone before we can actually. He's a decision maker at this point. Like, that guy's the top.
Right. I know.
So
I know he has an attorney. I don't know if he's going to do that, but I just wanted to throw that out there in case he does use him as like a trump card. Didn't know if how to necessarily handle that part of it. But what you recommended with the fixing it up, I definitely have thought about that as a partnership. The brother's okay with it either way. I mean, he'd rather sell it now, the one I've been dealing with. But
you're wanting
older
this
brother,
as an investment, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna fix
so
it up
that,
and either
that's
flip
why
it
I
or
want.
wholesale it. Right.
That's why I went that direction, because I can give you a free acquisition. I can give you a free asset to go flip by showing the family how they all make more money. I can take out the need for hard money loans or private money loans by having them bring the house at a basis value, and you go do what you do anyways. So it's gonna make your finance strategy easier, and you still meet
Right.
all of the siblings' goals. So that's a great example of when you should step in and partner with them. And actually, it's your project, it's their house. Like, the basis is their house, but everybody wins. You make the same spread or more than you would have, and the family makes a hell of a lot more than they would have, and they don't have to lift a finger. So that's the angle that I think you saw that. That's where I was headed. So when I get the attorney on the phone, I'm gonna build rapport. I'm gonna focus a lot on the attorney, and I'm gonna disarm him by showing him that I'm acting in Joey's best interest while trying to meet Tim's goals. So
Right.
I'm gonna focus on them, and I kind of just want the family to watch and see that I have enough confidence to stand up to an attorney and explain what I can do for this family. You think I'm going to get respect from the family then?
Heck yeah.
Like, if I can convince an attorney, I don't have to convince the family. They're going to go with the plan.
Right. Definitely. And I mean, the sister's not a problem already, so it's really just the brother and his attorney. I mean, that's the family really. I'm sure they're in the other brother's ear, but they're not really the deciding factor. It's really getting his brother on board. And it's crazy. It's only like a $3,000 difference, really. $3,000 or $4,000 that he's going to make more if they were to sell it retail after fixing it up, of course, and paying the realtor fees and yada yada yada. He's going to wait like 3 or 4 months to make an extra $3,000 or $4,000. I understand why he's okay with that. He's not putting any of the bill. He doesn't have to pay for anything, so of course he's okay with that if that's the plan, because he's not going to fix that house up. He's not paying for the insurance or the property taxes. He has been a kind of a freeloader in a way, but obviously I've got to paint it in a different picture, and you did an excellent job of that. I appreciate that.
And I'm sure you've thought about this.
What
How
you
long?
have is an
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Chuck.
what I was going to say, you don't have a real estate problem. You've got an ego problem, and you need to solve that. If you haven't read it, there's a good book. I think it was Ryan Holiday. Ego is the Enemy, and there's a lot of stoicism in there. So stuff from like the journals of Seneca and like other Stoics. But Ryan Holiday does a good job of kind of modernizing that message. If you haven't read that or really studied ego and how that affects behavior, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with two brothers who have built their own stories and built their walls, and no matter how irrational their behavior is, it's their pattern, and they've been doing it for a long time. But you might pick up that book, Ego is the Enemy, and it'll kind of help you understand how to disarm these people, because they're not aware of what they're doing. But that's
Right.
what it seems like to me. You've got an ego problem, not a real estate problem.
And a good way to make them realize that.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yep. What I was going to add, it's very obvious that that $3,000 or $4,000 is going to get eaten up very quickly with attorney's fees. So I mean, it's just not how many. If the attorney spends 10 hours on it, the person who doesn't want to sell is the one with the attorney, correct? He's trying to fight for more.
Correct.
Is that in my?
Correct.
Yeah. So again, yeah. So yeah,
spite his own face kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the difference is all going to go straight to his attorney. Would you rather split that with your brother or give it to your attorney? Exactly. All right, good one. Excellent. Bruce, any comments?
No, I don't have anything to add. It was good.
Okay, yeah, excellent. But we had 3 great, that's it, guys. The queue is empty. 3 extraordinary role plays today. We really, I want to end this call like I always end our calls. I want to thank all 100 plus of you for showing up today. I want to particularly thank the 3 of you that were brave enough to step up and actively participate. I want to challenge all of you, take one idea, one thing you heard on today's call, go out and put it into practice and come back and share the results with the group. And remember, our role play call, we will talk to you at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you soon, guys. Take care.